What's going on, guys? My name is Aldenero and welcome to episode 78 of my Leicester City career mode. This is episode 1 of season 5 essentially. This is the start of a whole new era as Leicester manager, and we've obviously won the league. The first piece of news that we get from the board is that they're selling Kasper Schmeichel and they don't care what I think, which is, I don't know, fair enough. I suppose he wants to leave. But we got this, the Manager of the Year award, which I've never won in any save on any FIFA ever. Have any of you guys ever won that before? I thought that was absolutely amazing. But they give us a little performance review. They're pretty much happy with everything. This episode will have no gameplay whatsoever. This is all transfer activity. As you can see here, they've come to me and said that my league objective is to win the league title for next season, which I guess is fair enough. They want me to repeat what I did last season, but in order to do that, they've only given me 22.5 million, which is a little bit of a shame. I think they could probably do a little bit better than that with the money that you'd get from winning the league overall. But they tell us that our aim for the Champions League is to reach the group stage. That should be easy because it's already done. We finished first in the league. We automatically go into the group stage, and they say they want us to reach the last 16 of the domestic cup, which isn't too bad. But we had some pre-contract deal arrivals. Jonathan Williams being the first one, who's only rated 73, which I find very disappointing, and Carl Jenkinson, who looks like he'll be nothing more than a good backup for right back, but still, like, having him and Byram is some pretty good strength in depth. We get a transfer offer, the first one of the summer, and it is for Scott Sinclair, and it's from Braga over in Portugal, and they offer 2 million for him. I said I'd go for 3.5 million and see if they could come and give me a different offer, because he's 29 years old, he's rated 73, he's never gone up a single rating, and he's going to start declining soon, so we might as well get rid of him, even though I'm very happy with everything that he did accomplish at the club, and he has been a fantastic servant for us. But I sort of changed my counter offer from this point to 2.8 million because I thought that was more realistic, considering nobody wanted to get the £3.5 million bid, which I suppose is fair enough. But yeah, that was the first piece of activity in the transfer window, and John Stones said he's been progressing well and he'd like to discuss his wages. But the thing is, you haven't been progressing at all, and that's the big problem with you, John Stones. But he only wanted a £5,000 wage increase, and I'm more than happy to oblige something like that as long as it's keeping the player happy. Nuremberg say that they accept our counter offer for Scott Sinclair, and then the board tell me that they have sold Kasper Schmeichel behind my back for £7 million to Aston Villa, which is fair enough. Had we gotten that offer, I would have definitely accepted it, so I'm not annoyed at the board or anything like that. They did tell me they were going to sell him, and it's £7 million for a goalkeeper who wanted to leave and, you know, did his part for the club anyway. And we have Jack Butland waiting in the wings to come and take over that #1 role. PSG made an offer for Hector Villalba, as I kind of expected that they would. I said, if you give me 70 million, we'll sell him, because I don't want to let him go at all. He's obviously been a phenomenal success for us, the most successful player that I've ever had. But every player does have a price, and that is something that's true. After that, I made some inquiries about other strikers to join Hector Villalba up front. Ricardo Zivkovic being one of them, who I offered 12.5 million plus Dwight Gale for, because they wanted 30 million, and let's face it, we don't have that kind of money to just be thrown around. But I also made an inquiry about Yassine Benzia from Manchester City, and they only wanted 3.5 million, and I thought this was an amazing opportunity to capitalise and sign a decent enough youth player, or sorry, youth prospect, or whatever it is. He's 23 now, so he's obviously not a youth player anymore, but he's a guy whose potential is 80 on the game, and I believe we could get him a little bit further than that as well, because sometimes players outgrow their potential. But £3 million is what we offered for him. And then Bertrand Traore, remember him from my Aston Villa save and my Monaco save? I went in and made an offer of 9.5 million for him over at Vitesse, because I really like the look of him, and he was amazing for me in FIFA 14 as just kind of a backup player, and I'd love to have that kind of role being fulfilled by anybody again. But PSG came back in for Villalba, saying that, you know, they'd give us 35 million or whatever. I said 67, and apart from that, you can fuck off. And Scott Sinclair told Nuremberg to fuck off as well. He says he doesn't want to leave. I guess that he doesn't want to leave England, because he had a few bids fail from other clubs as well, but Burnley came in with an offer for him, so I negotiated with them, and I thought he would be inclined to go to Burnley, even though they did get relegated last season. Udinese came in making a bid for Andrew Robertson of 10.5 million. I said, if you give me 16.5, we'll talk, but I didn't really have any intention of selling them. I knew that they wouldn't rise to that. Sometimes it's like I'm playing, like, it's like a kind of a wager that I do, where it's like, if they give me that much money, I'll let them go, but I don't actually want to let them go at all, and even if they they do go for that, it'll be a problem for me. I don't know if anyone else does that. I just can't say no to massive amounts of money. But we offer a contract to Yassine Benzia, which is really good. And then from here, there's a lot of activity in this little part here. But it's mostly pertaining to Scott Sinclair and Andrew Robertson. Hertha Berlin made a bid for Scott Sinclair as well, but it looked as though he was going to go to Atalanta at that point, but Hertha Berlin agreed to our £2.8 million asking price, and then we made another offer for Bertrand Traore because Vitesse rejected our £9.5 million one. This time I threw Rohan Ince into the deal because he's progressed very well. I'm really happy with him, but he's worth 4 million, and I don't think he's actually worth that. So I think he's a good bargaining chip to use because of the fact that he seems to have a much higher value than he deserves. So that's why I always throw Rohan Ince into the fray when it comes to negotiating for players. But Burnley accepted our asking price for Scott Sinclair, and now they're going to negotiate his contract, which I think is pretty good. And Benfica, of all teams, came in with a bid for Hector Villalba. I thought that was pretty weird because, like, you wouldn't expect Benfica to be throwing like 50 million at a player, but Yassine Benzia accepts our contract offer and he comes and joins the club, which I think is an absolutely amazing piece of business. For just £3 million for a player like that. Here are his stats on the screen as well. He looks very good. 84 acceleration, 85 agility, and 83 sprint speed are all decent enough. And then 84 curve and dribbling, not to mention 78 finishing and 79 long shots. Like 79 short passing as well. I think he's going to work really, really well with Villalba up front, and I think they are going to dominate and they are going to be a decent force. And I'm just very excited to see how all that works out. But Scott Sinclair doesn't want to go to Berlin. He just says no, I suppose. And I pulled out of the deal for Zivkovic because I just thought there's no way I was ever going to afford him, no matter what price I was to put forward, because I can't realistically go to 30 million anyways. But I went and I made an offer for Danny Ings because he seems like a very highly rated player, and I offered Gale plus money for him. I also went and made a bid for Thorgan Hazard from AC Milan just to see if we could try and get that deal back on track, because I really wanted to get him last summer when I sort of had a vision of changing the formation of the team, but I never actually got around to doing that, and I suppose I could try that this season. But Scott Sinclair goes to Burnley. We get 2.4 million from that deal, which is pretty decent. And Vitesse accepted our offer for Bertrand Traore. So this was really exciting for me because he's just a player who I really, really like, and I was really looking forward to trying to get him into the club. We offer him 40 grand a week. We also went and made an offer for Nathan Redmond as a replacement for Scott Sinclair, just in case the Traore deal didn't go ahead. I offered Ki Sung Young plus 2.5 million because Ki is now 29 and entering the early stages of decline, and that totally rhymes. And so does that. Oh, amazing. But we rejected Udinese's approach for Andrew Robertson because it was clear that they weren't going to break the bank to try and sign him, so therefore we had lost all interest in that. And I made a £3.2 million bid for Danny Ings plus Dwight Gale after Burnley rejected our initial approach. And then we signed Bertrand Traore. We get him into the club for 11.5 million plus Rohan Ince, which comes to a total tally of something like 15.5 million, which is really like a lot of money. But as you can see from his stats, I think he's going to be worth it. He has all the necessary stats in all the right areas for me to definitely get the most out of this player. I think he's going to be an upgrade on Tom Ince as well, but I think him and Tom Ince will be able to play really well together. Like, I don't like Tom Ince's end product, but he still adds a lot to the team, and as a result of that bid being successful, I pulled out with a bid for Nathan Redmond because we just had no need to ever try and sign him again. Then we got to the contract stage for Danny Ings. I offered him an important first team player slot. I was tempted to throw him in as a squad rotation player, but I figured he just wouldn't accept that, despite the fact that Burnley have actually been relegated in this game and they are gone back to the Championship. We also received a transfer offer for Juan Pablo Diaz from Chelsea for 8 million, which I find amazing, and I upped it to 15 million, and I was like, yeah, give me 15 million and then we'll talk, and just to see if they'd budge on it and go for like maybe a 12 million pound bid or so. But we signed Danny Ings, and I actually think he is a fantastic signing as well, because he's 2 ratings higher than Dwight Gale, who never progressed at all, and he's 2 years younger than Dwight Gale, and you can see from his stats he looks very, very good as well. The only thing that kind of annoys me about him is that his stamina isn't very high, and he's got high work rates, and I wonder how that'll affect him in a match. Like, I don't think he'll ever be able to play 2 matches on the bounce, but that's fine because we've got Yassine Benzia, and we might make 1 or 2 other signings as well, not to mention the fact that we've got Schlupp and we've got Mike Lete. We did let Berahino go on a free transfer, transfer, but fuck him anyways, because I have more faith in the corner flag playing up front than I do for him. But Stoke came in with 2 bids for 2 players, a loan offer for Valère Bresson, which we accepted, and a £1 million bid for Dedrick Boyata, which we also accepted. Boyata goes to Stoke, and that's the end of that. And then Chelsea have agreed a £15 million fee for Juan Pablo Diaz, which I found absolutely astonishing, because that is how you do transfer business. Like, that's incredible. We signed him on a free transfer, gave him, I think, half a season, was it? No, we gave him a full season of doing nothing, pretty much, just, you know, participating from the bench every now and then, and that was fine, nothing came of that. Then we sent him on loan for a season, and we brought him back, and we get a £15 million bid for him. I just think that's amazing. I'm so happy with that business. But that is the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys like what I did with the transfer bids and stuff like that. Hopefully you guys enjoy the players that I brought in. If you have any suggestions, do leave them in the comment section. I would be delighted to see them. And also, if you're looking forward to season 5, please do leave a like on the video. That would be much appreciated, because YouTube has been an absolute thunder cunt lately, and it would be really good to see the support. But anyways, I've been El De Niro. Thanks for watching.